Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of 2025, the year of gains. So today is arm day, and we're going to crush some arms. Don't really have a whole lot of questions from people in my videos. Did have an interaction with someone talking about rotator cuff warm-ups and the importance of that, even if you're not feeling the pain, So let's just get into some questions here. What's your main focus for the session? Size, shape, or strength? Aren't they all the same thing? Size comes from, lifting heavy, putting your muscles under tension, and that's where the shape comes from. You're defined by your genetics. I think, you can manipulate the shape of your muscles a little bit, but the shape is manipulated by you building that muscle. Not really a big focus on strength. It just kind of comes along with bodybuilding. We're not power lifters. We're not just trying to lift as heavy weights as we can just to, enter a competition and just see who can lift the most weight. It's about building a solid physique, symmetrical from head to toe, and just being happy with that. So which exercise usually gives you the best pump, and how can you maximize it today? Best pump. So as far as biceps, I think the thing that's been helping me out the most, that's been really feeling the best is, it could be just where it is in the workout, because usually I start with cable curls facing the stack, and then I flip around and put my back against the cable stack and get a full stretch. But there's something about when I have my back against the cable stack and I'm in that full stretch position with my arms straight down and I'm pulling that weight up. And it could be a mental connection, because a lot of times I use the cable stack this right beside a mirror, and I'm facing the mirror when I'm doing it, and I can see the vascularity in my arms, and I think that might actually make me push myself a little bit harder. So I think that full stretch position and going through that entire motion really just all of those things come together and help me get the best. I think that's the best part of my pump. As far as triceps, the rope press downs. When you're doing rope press downs and you find like a moderate, little less close to heavy, I'd say moderate to slightly heavy weight, and you're pressing it down and you're pushing it out to your sides, and at that bottom position you're really squeezing, and then you go back up to the full stretch and you're taking your time with it, and you're not worried about just throwing around a lot of weight just to throw around weight. I think that is what gives me the best pump with my triceps. Excuse me. Ran out of pre-workout, but I got me another Rainbow Sherbet Rain. Excuse me. My mic was dead too. I don't know if I left it on last time I recorded a video or what was going on there. So hopefully the audio is picking up okay. Have your arms been progressing the way you want lately? What's one tweak you could make to improve that? Well, I touched on this a little bit in one of my other videos, that when a big reason I do my pose down, of course you want to see how you look, but I can look at older pictures a little bit too, and they may not be as accurate as I think because they're pretty old. Last time I was pretty cut, but it seemed that my triceps were a little bit ahead of my biceps. And when I do a back double bicep, my biceps aren't peeking up as much. Partially it could be just me having trouble getting a good angle with the camera when I'm doing my pose down in the bathroom. But I've been focusing a little bit more on biceps. So I'll do a few extra sets for biceps, and I'll make sure I go as hard as I can on biceps. And triceps, I think the rotator cuff injury was kind of radiating down into my triceps, so for a while I did back off from them, so that's part of it. But I want my biceps to catch up, so I'm really focused on biceps, and I think it's starting to pay off. I do see, when you work out for a while, gains start to become a lot harder to get. Like a new lifter, man, you go in there and you start lifting, you start getting in shape pretty quick. But at some point, you don't exactly plateau. I think, you know, the line's kind of like this. And then once you lifting for a while, it starts to go like this, and you barely make any progress. And it takes a lot of effort to make that progress too. So that's why I'm pretty hyper focused on my biceps. And I can tell that it's helping, but not in a drastic way. I know it's going to take a while. Are you mentally dialed in, or do you need to shift your focus before you touch that first weight? I'm always dialed in when I'm going into the gym in the morning, because this is something I love to do. It's something I'm passionate about. I look forward to it every day. When I go to sleep at night, sometimes I want to go to sleep earlier just so I can get up and get to the gym. Like, I love this so much that I don't have to get mentally dialed in, because I'm already so disciplined. And it's just, it doesn't feel like work to me. It's just something I love to do. I love to lift weights. I just love it so much. So, you know, music always helps, you know, if that's something you need. And, you know, if it is a mental shift you need, maybe there's something you need to lock onto. I heard somebody talking about having an anchor, right? You think about when you find a time where you were the most motivated, where you feel great, where you feel invincible, where you feel like you can do anything, where you're dominating something. You drop that anchor right there. You seal that memory, and you think about that moment. So when, say, before you go into the gym, you think about that time that you were feeling unstoppable, where you drop that anchor, and you use that to get yourself mentally ready to go in there and kill it. So I think that's something that could help somebody that's not as crazy about lifting as I am. What's your plan for controlling tempo and maximizing tension on each rep? Man, I like to do it a lot of different ways. Sometimes I'll go in there, I'll grab that cable stack. I'm like, I want to go heavy today, and I'll just throw that freaking weight around. That's mainly on the cable curls facing the stack. So maybe that's the style that it'll be today. I'll go pretty heavy when I'm facing it. And I'll back off 10 or 20 pounds. And when I'm facing the mirror back against the cable stack, I'll focus on slow, controlled time under tension. I think a healthy mix or some middle ground in there is something that's going to help out a lot. Not really going to throw around anything with my triceps. That's going to be more form focused, more tension focused. Just like I was saying with the rope press downs and you know, that's something to be said, that I don't really change my tricep exercise as much. I got a couple I like, and we're sticking to them. So the tricep press downs tension, and then the overhead behind the head extensions, that's going to be lightish, moderate weight. So that's the plan there. Any new movement or grip variation you want to test out today? I don't know. Last time I did biceps, I was at the other gym and I did some seated curls. Man, that preacher curl is pretty cool. So maybe I'll switch it up and I'll finish off with the. They don't have the machine, but they have the bench for preacher curls. Maybe I'll grab a dumbbell and do one arm at a time. See how that feels. And we'll just have to see. Are you fueled and hydrated enough to crush this session, or do you need a quick boost before you start? So usually I have my pre-workout at home, and I'll drink probably 24 ounces of water with it. So I end up pretty hydrated, caffeinated, focused. I did run out. I do need to get some more. I have to wait till tomorrow, I think, to venture out, because I got to get to work before too long. But I'm just drinking my rainbow sherbet. And there's definitely a lot of caffeine in there. But as far as hydration goes, I'll probably need to drink out of the water fountain during my workout to make sure I'm hydrated. So, but yeah, that's the plan for today. Arms are about to be destroyed. We're going to destroy my triceps, then my biceps. Maybe we'll mix up, do biceps and triceps. I'm not sure. Depends on what's available when I go in there. I'm going to pose down. I may skip my 30 minutes of cardio today. Don't quote me on that. I do need to do a couple things before I go to work, and it's not really getting late, but I don't like to be pressed for time. I like to have a cushion. But let's get in there, destroy these arms, and I'll see you guys soon. have it. Arm day is complete, and it was an okay one, but we'll get to that in just a minute. I was reading through some of these questions, and it made me chuckle a little bit. So the answers today are going to be, maybe it'll bring out some of my personality. We shall see. And I'm going to try to drive and answer them, so there might be a couple pauses. Maybe I'll edit that out or something, but I'm going to focus on driving. But that's partially the reason I went ahead and read through the questions a little bit. I don't want to get distracted while I'm driving. So it says, what was the biggest pump moment today? Describe it like a movie scene. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but let's give it a try. So biggest pump moment. Describe it like a movie scene. I don't think I can do that, but I turned around and I intensely looked in the mirror. I was 4 sets deep into my bicep workout, and as I gripped the barbell like my life depended on it, I squeezed it as hard as I could, and as I lifted the weight up, it's like every ounce of blood in my body was headed towards my biceps. The pump was like nothing ever seen before. It was something legends are spoken about. It was the most amazing thing I've ever felt in my life. How was that? But nah, really. When I was doing the the curls facing the mirror, it felt pretty good. Again, you know what? That wasn't the best part. I got so wrapped up in trying to describe something like a movie scene that I forgot when I sat on my throne and I looked at my minions before me. Every dumbbell from 5 pounds to 110 pounds. And I selected the 20 pounders. And as I lifted them up, I felt like nothing could stop me. I was unstoppable as I was curling the weight. My biceps swelling so much, I felt like they were going to burst out of my shirt. So, in short, I was sitting on when I did the dumbbell curls, the seated dumbbell curls, those felt really good. Nice pump. But anyway, I'm moving on from this nonsense. Oh, God. How have your bicep or tricep exercises evolved over the past few months? Any tweaks that made a big difference? Oh, excuse me. Well, I touched on this a little bit before I started. So what's evolved over the times is I've selected 2 tricep exercises that feel good, that don't feel like they're going to aggravate my rotator cuff. And I'm more focused on biceps now than I am my triceps. So that's definitely how it's evolved. And I think cable curls, I was always just facing the cable stack, and I think that was just my mindset as far as cable curls go. And turning around and doing the curls facing the mirror, man, I mean, there's nothing like it. Like getting a good bicep bump in that full stretch position, seeing all the veins coming out in my arms, it really gives me some motivation. It really gives me a push to really, really push myself. And it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's just reassurance that what I'm doing is working. It's that I'm making progress and I can see it in the mirror. So that's a big one for me. So when I do those curls, I absolutely want to face a mirror. It doesn't feel the same when I'm at a cable stack that there's no mirror around. So just having that visual is amazing. I mean, it just makes me feel really good. What does mind-muscle connection mean to you, and how did it show up today? Mind-muscle connection is something I've been hacking away at for a while now. It's something that I've really, really tried, especially when I'm training back. I know we didn't train back today, but I think that's the biggest thing that's shown up for me. And also chest. The mind-muscle connection is what allowed me to bench press 225 for the first time. Really, really focusing on tucking my shoulders in and pushing the weight up with my chest has been a big one. As far as back goes, getting in that full stretch position and really feeling my lats, my traps, pulling the weight. Dumbbell rows, I felt that a lot on that. But as far as arm training goes, the mind-muscle connection for me has been, I got so stuck on keep your elbows by your side, keep your elbows by your side to fully engage your bicep. But I tell you what, when I do cable curls
and my elbows come forward a little bit in that position, I feel it more in my biceps. I really do. In the mind muscle connection, when I'm facing the mirror, back against the cable stack, full stretch, pulling that weight up, man, that mind muscle connection is something else. So mind muscle connection is absolutely something you should work on the daily. Sometimes you got to leave that ego at the door, lower that weight, and reevaluate yourself with whatever exercises you're doing, and really focus on moving that weight with the target muscle. I think that's really going to go a long way for you. I'll read this next question in a second, coming up to a light. So let's see here. It says, which exercise felt strongest and which one felt weakest today, and why do you think that is? So strongest, none of them felt the strongest today. I actually did. So when I was going in, my mindset was to destroy my biceps and triceps, and I felt like that happened. And I did say I was going to throw around some weight with the cable curls, but this just goes to show that not every day is created equal. So I did feel a slight fatigue. I didn't really feel that fatigue until I started lifting. Like, I felt fine, but my lifts weren't as strong. And there's so many factors that come into that. My sleep schedule has been different because I've been working at night instead of the mornings. I think some of that comes into play. Nutrition off, hydration off. I think a lot of that comes into play. And I'm always stronger in the afternoon when I go do an afternoon lift. So I think a lot of that played a factor. So that's just how I'd say that every lift felt a little weaker today. But that's okay, because your effort is not measured by how much weight you're moving. Your effort is measured by your effort. I mean, is there any better way to put that? You don't worry about those numbers. You just go to close to failure as you can. And failure today was not the same as failure every day, because my energy levels were different, if that makes sense. So here we go with some of these silly questions. I like that some of these are getting thrown in here. If your arms could talk right now, what would they be saying? They would be saying, hey man, I know I wasn't as strong as I was on my last workout, but I tell you what, man, I put the effort in for you. I did everything in my power to complete the task you put before me. And my strength may not have been as high as it was last time, but my effort was the same. So my effort matched the weight that was being pushed today. And they would say, hey man, we're getting bigger. We're pushing it hard. And one day we're going to be so big, you're not going to fit in a large shirt. An extra large shirt is going to be tight on you, man. I got you. We will be 20 inches around one day. I think that's something that they'd say. But also they wouldn't say anything because they're biceps and triceps. My triceps would say, hey man, I appreciate you backing off on the super heavy pressing, the incline presses. Me and my friend, the rotator cuff, we're getting along a little bit better now. We're healing our relationship, and before long, we'll be back at 100%. So I appreciate you taking it easy on us. It's been a long road, but it's not about the journey, it's about the destination, and I've learned a lot. So we're going to keep on going, and one day we're going to get there, and we're going to make you proud. My biceps would say, okay, anyway. Hold on, we got a big curve. Rain break. Oh God. All right. Did you experiment with tempo, grip, or rep ranges today? What impact did they have? Did I experiment with anything? I would say not really. The seated dumbbell curls are more of a movement that have moved back into my training. Set ranges were different today. So I didn't even go over my workout, so we'll go through that real quick. I'm pretty sure I got this right. So I warmed up my triceps with the single arm. We don't count that. Single arm press down to get my triceps ready. rope press downs, I did 3 sets of rope press downs. I lowered the weight every time, really focusing on the squeeze. The overhead extensions were a little bit heavier, so I was using 15 pounds instead of 10 pounds. So towards the end, I was kind of throwing it around a little bit just to get through the reps. But at first, I was focusing on slow. So we did 3 sets there. Then my bicep training was a lot different because of fatigue. So I did the cable curls, 2 sets, pretty tired. Turned around, faced the mirror, did cable curls with my back against the stack, had to lower the weight a little bit there and really focus on going really slow. And the second set, I ended up doing 20 reps because I was a little too light and I was getting a pretty good pump. So I just kind of, the last little bit, I just kind of threw the weight around. The seated dumbbell curls were really slow and controlled. I did 3 sets there. So I ended up doing 5 or 6 sets for triceps. I ended up doing 7 sets for biceps, so 2, 2, 3 for biceps. So I mean, I guess that's how I experimented with that today. But it felt good. Like I said, the effort was different today. The effort was the same, the weight was different. That's how we can put it. Excuse me. Let's see what else we got. Did you notice symmetry or imbalance in your arms? How are you addressing it? So I did touch on that a little bit. It's kind of funny that it's asking that question. I feel like my phone is listening to me. How I address it is how I've been addressing it. As far as arms, unilateral movements help out a lot, and maybe that's a good reason to have the bicep curls in there with 2 dumbbells, because my arms have to work equally. Triceps, I do have a unilateral movement, the overhead extensions. But focusing more on biceps than triceps because my biceps are behind. I think that's something that's really helping me. But overall, the workout was good. It didn't go 100% according to plan, but I talk about that. I touch on that all the time. Sometimes the gym is going to be more crowded. You're not going to be able to do the exercises you plan to. That's a reason it's good to have an open mind and really just kind of expand your exercise encyclopedia and repertoire, or however you want to say it, and not be so focused on doing certain exercises or be so focused on doing a certain weight with a certain amount of reps, like 3 seconds, don't get so caught up in that. Go hard, hit every muscle once or twice a week, do your 30 minutes of cardio every day. And it doesn't have to be intense. I'm telling you, get on the treadmill, put it on 2.5, put it on a 5 incline or something, that'll go a long way. But if you keep doing that stuff, you're absolutely going to get to where you want to go. But, that's about all I got for you guys. So I appreciate you guys going. As always, man, if you're enjoying my content, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. You got questions you want me to answer on these videos, let me know. But yeah, just ask questions, man. I love answering questions. It's starting to become something I'm pretty passionate about too. But arms are destroyed. Cardio is awesome. Tomorrow's back day. Maybe I'll go to the other gym because I like the back equipment there. Maybe I won't. Who really knows? Depends on when I get up. But don't let that dreamer die. Keep the grind alive. I'm telling you guys, never ever give up on yourself. I will see you guys tomorrow for back. Have a good one.